Boatworks Today is a viewer-supported show. To learn more on how you can get involved and watch extended ad-free versions of these videos, please visit our website, boatworkstoday.com, and click on the top of the heading where it says Support This Show. Thank you. So welcome back, everybody. I hope you're all doing well. My name is Andy with Boatworks Today, and this week, well, honestly, I wasn't planning on putting together a video. I had mentioned that last. But as we got a little bit closer to the weekend, I didn't really want to skip or miss a week. So for this video, I'm going to be taking a little bit of a step back and actually doing something that I do every year, every fall time. Now, I understand it's not quite fall yet, but it's not that far away. So I figured now is just as good a time as any. So basically what I'd like to do once a year is just kind of take a step back and just kind of give a general assessment of how things are going. Look at the changes that I made last year to see what's working, what's not, and just kind of see what kind of things can be improved. I mean, let's face it. I mean, nothing is perfect. There's always room to do better. So just as a heads up, obviously this is not going to be a project-based video. It's going to be mostly, kind of a talking head kind of a thing. So if that's not your deal, that's fine. You don't have to watch this. You can go ahead and click off right now. But I will say, I am going to be asking for some feedback. And it's about something that could potentially change the way that I structure and manage this channel going forward. So I would appreciate it if you would take the time to finish the video and just kind of give me some feedback. And I would love to hear what you have to say. So thanks in advance, and let's get started. So let's start with things that are actually working. Now, last October, I believe, I made the decision that I was going to start creating content, here online full time. And I got to say that was a pretty ballsy chance to take. At least, if that's how it felt for me. But I will say, it was one of the best decisions I've ever made. Absolutely, hands down, best decision I've ever made. My level of stress has gone from like a 10 down to about a 3 to 4, which is fantastic. My days and the weeks, they're a lot more structured. Before it was very haphazard. I didn't know what I was doing from one day to the next. And a lot of that, again, going on to point number 3, was having to work around the weather and customer schedules. That was one thing that I just absolutely hated, was you get your week planned out, or at least planned out, and all of a sudden, on Monday, weather forecast changes on Wednesday, and all of a sudden now, instead of being in Bayfield, now there's a chance of rain, but it's only a 50% chance of rain. So, do you go? Do you not go? It's a 40-minute drive there, and another 40 minutes back, potentially for nothing. So that I do not miss at all. And within this past year, an incredible community has come together over on Patreon. I mean, to say that they have been supportive would be a huge understatement. Now, I've said this on more than one occasion, but their help and support truly is the backbone of this channel. And if it weren't for them, this would have dried up and gone to the wayside, almost a year ago. So for everybody there, thank you so much. You have no idea how much I appreciate that. Now, since I've been doing this, I've had a chance to work with some really great companies. And first and foremost is going to be Jamestown Distributors, or specifically Total Boat. They have just been so helpful and supportive. It's just an awesome group of people, make great products. I can't say enough good things about them. Now, they're not the only ones. There's Sasan Industries, the people that make the non-skid, Kusa Composites, Alexial Paints, Flexi Sander, Festool. I mean, it's just, I feel so lucky to be able to work with these companies. And all I can say is just thank you. I appreciate the opportunity. So now overall, even though things are going really well, there are certainly some things that can be improved upon. Now, there's one thing in particular that I wouldn't say that I'm not happy with. I'm just not 100% satisfied with. And I understand that it sounds a little bit like splitting hairs, but I think that's probably the best way to put it. But that really comes down to is, how slowly the progress is actually happening on a week-to-week basis on the videos. Now, just kind of taking a step back here. For the most part, I put out 2 videos per week. One video publicly here on YouTube, and then another video, a separate video privately over on Patreon. Now, creating content, or I guess recording myself with hands-on time here on the projects, to be honest, that really only accounts for about 25% of my time in a week. The majority of my time is spent doing like private consultations, and that probably takes up about 50% of my time every week. Doing emails, and then creating the content, doing the recording, and then all the editing. So on any given week, for the most part, I only get about 10 to 12 hours of actual hands-on time with the projects. And there's only so many hours, there's only so many hours in a week, and just kind of the way that the schedule has kind of ironed itself out, that's generally how it goes. Now, not a whole lot of progress can happen when you only have 10 to 12 hours, for an entire week. And that's not an actual entire week because there's editing days. A day of editing is a full day. And doing 2 videos, well, there's 2 full days of editing that are spent. So I guess here's, and that's kind of and that's something that's been, I guess, brought up not by very many people. I'd say by less than 1% of the viewers, have actually made comments along these lines. But I still listen, and I understand that, even for myself, it's not something that I'm 100% satisfied with as well. So you're not alone if you're kind of getting frustrated with, how slowly things are progressing, because I'm right there with you. But I haven't been able to figure out a solution to kind of remedy that. So the way things stand right now, I'm hoping that by next year I'll be able to bring somebody in to kind of help me with the recording and the editing and that kind of stuff. Take some of that time that I don't necessarily have to be doing it, and kind of delegate that to someone else. Budget's not quite there yet. But I'm hoping that by next spring that is something that I'll be able to do. Now that would certainly be a game changer for this whole situation, but as of right now, that's not in the cards. So at this point, I really have, the way that I see it, I have kind of 2 options ahead of me. I can either continue doing what I'm doing, understand and just kind of accept the fact that the progress is going to be slow and focus my attention on trying to make educational content that's educational, and not so much, entertaining. But say in each video, then try and find a topic, whatever it may happen to be, and really kind of hammer home the specifics on that. Now, the downside of that is that they tend to be mostly talking and very little action. But like I said, I consider Boatworks today to be more of an educational channel than anything else. I mean, I do try and keep it entertaining, but for the most part, at its heart, I consider it to be an educational channel. And, and with that said, talking is going to be, and explaining things is almost inevitable. So that's one option. I, kind of keep things the way that they are, and just understand that progress is going to be slow, focus on the details. Now, the other option, and that's putting out videos on a weekly basis. Now, the other option would be to look into putting out videos, say, every other week. So then, for each video, then instead of having 10 to 12 hours of progress, I would have double of that. So then in each video then, again, on every other week, there would be twice as much hands-on work, twice as much progress. I'm not quite sure how I feel about that, just because just the way YouTube works, that might end up shooting myself in the foot. But ultimately, this channel, and what I do here is ultimately it's for you. One of the main reasons that I do this is to try and show folks how to get certain things done so that they're able to do it themselves and not have to rely on having to pay somebody else to do it. So I guess that was a real long-winded way of asking just a simple question, which is, what would you prefer? How would you prefer to see this channel structured going forward? Should I continue to do the weekly videos that are, I guess, slower moving but with more detail? Or should I switch it up to doing a video every other week with actual more, I guess, hands-on time? The level of detail probably wouldn't be as great, just because I still want to try and fit together with around that 20-minute in length. So there would be some give and take on that. And I am totally open to the possibility that there might be a door number 3. I mean, that happens quite a bit. And a lot of times, if you're too close to the situation, you have a hard time looking at it objectively, I guess. So I'm totally open to that possibility. If you have any ideas, I don't care if they sound kind of a little bit out there at first, but working through this, it's a bit of a work in progress. So if you have any ideas, leave those down below. It may not be the home run at first, but after kind of kicking it back around a little bit, it very well might be the solution that I'm looking for. So on that note, I think I'm going to end this video. Now, I hope you enjoyed this, and if you did, please hit that thumbs up button. If you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button right down here and hit the little notification bell. I would truly appreciate it. Love to have you on board. If you have any questions, comments, leave those down below. And as always, thank you for your time, and thanks for watching.
This has been a Boatworks Today production.